I always like to say ballet found me. But 10 years later, I was the first student from the outreach program to get into the San Francisco Ballet, which was felt like a great honor. Um, I received the Princess Grace Award in 1993, and my career was great. I went to Dance Theatre of Harlem, where I kind of got a fresh start. And right away, I found a lot of success as a soloist and then as a principal. And I got to do some wonderful roles dancing in New York and Kennedy Center. It was just fantastic. We traveled all over the world and toured, and I got a chance to really do all the good, like Balanchine roles and classical roles, neoclassical roles that I always wanted to do. After that, I joined the Joffrey Ballet in Chicago, and I danced there for about 2 years. I think sometimes you got to know what you like in a company and what you don't like in a company. And I think those two things are very important. Currently, I'm a teacher at Pacific Northwest Ballet, teaching levels from one to the pre-professionals and having a wonderful, wonderful time. But before that, I really got my start as a professional pirouette coach. I started my own business called Just Turns, where I really wanted to help dancers learn how to turn better and more confidently. And what I love about being a Creative Generations mentor is that a lot of the same skills that I learned and that I do with my Just Turns, I feel like complement perfectly what we're doing here at Creative Generations. So I look forward to working with you on your turns, finding those little details that can help you go from 2 to 3, or just give a good finish in your turn. I really believe in positive reinforcement. And with turns, just like any kind of mentoring, you got to really take a moment to allow the dancer to soak in the information. And I like to give that space to dancers. All right, give a correction, allow it to kind of soak in for a moment, try it, see if we can capture that one moment. I'm really excited to use our video feedback technique to, because I feel like that will give the dancers that instant understanding, because they're in the video. They know what it feels like. You know what it feels like to do the turn, to do the move. And so what our goal, or what I like to do, is tell you in that moment, what did you find? What did you feel? Let's try this as well. And I feel like it'll be a really good way to help dancers improve their technique, get to that next level, get that turn from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 or 4 to 5. So I'm excited for that, and I can't wait to work with you on that. For my experience of being mentored, I remember living in New York and going to Steps and working with a wonderful teacher, Willie Berman. And it was wonderful to, in the class context, taking class with all the dancers in New York, and it was just a fantastic atmosphere. But where it really, really, really paid off, and what I got the most out of it from his mentoring, was after class, when we would just be sitting on the bench, just kind of chatting here and there, and just talking about little details. I remember even he just took me aside and we went up and down some steps, and he was kind of talking to me about the idea of counterbalance. And I'll never forget that moment of that one-on-one time with him, and going up and down these steps and having him coach me in that moment. It really made a huge, huge difference for me in my career. It gave me so much confidence. Especially for my turns. And I remember the next day hitting a turn that was just the best turn I'd ever done. And I was so proud. I was so proud. And it took a minute. It did take a minute. I think we have to remember as mentors to give the student time to, there's not going to be anything quick. It's got to take a moment to absorb into the dancer's technique and into their psyche, and so then it becomes more an instant habitual aspect. At first I thought dancing was just a dream come true, and I was just so lucky to be dancing as a company, and I was so grateful, and I just was so happy. And I didn't understand that what not only is it a dream come true, but it's also a business, that I'm a businessman in a way, that my career is my business. And when I started seeing it in that light, I felt like my career actually got better and better, because I took it more seriously. And I felt the directors, artistic staff, everybody that I encountered also took me more seriously. And that really helped me grow as a dancer, as an artist, as a businessman, and make my career feel very much more satisfying. I felt much more satisfied from my career once I was able to see myself more as a business artist in a way. And being able to take that chip off my shoulder and just really be the artist, grow as an artist was a true blessing and a gift. I was so happy for that moment. And then after that, I saw that I could bring diversity to any place that I came, and I wore it as a badge of honor. And I feel like that's where my journey is today. That wherever I go, whether I'm speaking, whatever students I'm speaking to, whatever backgrounds, whatever heritage they have, I feel like I can speak honestly as a dancer that's had all the ups and downs. And the end of the day, you got to wear your heart on your sleeve when you're in the studio. You've got to just go for it from the first moment you're learning the piece. How are you going to perform it? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for how are you going to perform on stage? And I think a really success, is just dance the way that you feel it. Don't be shy. Dance to the beat of your own drum. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to give you some simple points and simple techniques, simple tips that will allow you to grow your talent into the best dancer that you can be. Because you're talented. You've got it. You've already come this far. You've come so far. How can we take some of the other things away, get to something simple, and then build that this week? Next week, let's figure out what that is. You know what I mean? So then you can build in habits, the correct habits, and good habits. I'm Ikolo Griffin, a dance development coach with Creative Generations.